Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Inside Movies Galore. I'm your host, David Streggy, and today I have another review for you of a film sequel in the Lake Fear trilogy. So I'm following up with director Ben Wilder's Lake Fear to the Swamp, otherwise known as the Everglades Killings. And it's produced by Follow Through Productions and distributed by ITN Distribution. So here is what the film looks like on the cover. Kind of a similar title to the original. So the film involves like maybe 3 or 4 couples that evidently are planning to have a spring break, and normally they have a spring break evidently on the beach or whatnot. And what this film has is it has Linnea Quigley as a bartender in here who tells this group of young people, which I'm going to name them. I'm going to. So we have Sidney Ray plays Tony, Nicholas Kolasinski as Tyler, Peter Pontone as Derek, Robert Futrell as Marcus, Kamisha Llewellyn as Tanya, Brenda Asorno as Anna, Lauren Ashley as Nicole, Nicholas Holtz as Patrick, Elisa George as Leigh, Jordan Gaddy as Jocelyn, and Benjamin Padden as Hank, and Tony Slade as Otis, and so on and so forth. So after the very beginning, where we see the group has a blonde young man who seems to be kind of a seems to be like that jock, kind of young man who seems to be cocky, and they get. For most of the beginning, it's kind of a girls gone wild kind of thing, because there's a wet t-shirt contest. There's definitely a lot of ass shots on some of the ladies, and so on and so forth. And Linnea Quigley tells them about a gator place out in the boonies that is evidently on the outskirts of town, and says that they could catch some gators or snakes. They would actually pay them for some of the big snakes that they could find. So they decide to do something different for spring break. So when they get to this gator place, there's an old man who runs the shop, and I believe he is played. I believe his name is Henry Gerald, and it's played by Gerald Motes. So he ends up agreeing to taking the group out to see, and they go out on this boat that's connected to this huge van. So it's kind of a Land Rover land boat or whatnot. I forget exactly what they're called, but he ends up having a heart attack after he has told them about an abandoned place that is out there in the swamp, and that there's several stories connected with it that might actually be bad, or some hauntings or whatnots, and it kind of looks bad for the group. So the group ends up getting off the boat and going over to this cabin, and they once they get there, they realize that the place is shacked up with moonshine, and it looks like people have actually been there. But they decide to start down and party. One of the members in their group ends up evidently he had brought some drugs. So they ended up some of the group ended up getting high and drunk off moonshine. Meanwhile, two Hick brothers, uh, by the name I think of Otis and Hank, uh, played by Benjamin Patton and Tony Slade, um, end up coming upon the group. So the group starts relaxing. One of the girls ends up going and taking a shower, and ends up somewhat naked throughout the place. And um, there's at least one sex scene in the film, and some really cool kills, I think, for a slasher film. But this was not what I expected of a Lake Fear, because Lake Fear started off with a supernatural element. Evidently, the spirits were playing with them, at least in the first feature. And this is not what I considered a sequel to Lake Fear. This should have been a standalone film. I think they just changed the title to go along with the film franchise to kind of make a sell on it. I think it could have actually made it on its own. Actually, maybe not with the title that it originally had, the Everglades Killings, but they could have actually left it alone. I think it could have actually sold on its own. So I thought the acting was pretty decent. I mean, you definitely wanted to see the asshole blonde young man. I forget all their names because I don't think the names really matter, especially since most of the young people in here got killed. And there was actually a few moments of violence in this film that I did not expect. There was a moment of homosexual rape, and there was a moment where one of the young girls was actually pregnant, and so what they did is they hung her upside down on a cross and pulled out the dead fetus of this child and put it on a bonfire. So I think that there are definitely some elements of violence in this film that I didn't expect. So it's not that this film wasn't good. It had some elements of surprise. It's just I thought that there would have been another game that would have been played, a similar line to the first one, and it wasn't what I entirely was plan or what I entirely was thinking when I went into this film. If you enjoy my description of this film, like and subscribe to my channel if you have not. Hopefully you enjoyed my description. I just enjoy watching films, watching horror movies for the most part, but I tend to go off the norm and talk about anything. And I enjoyed the film. I just don't think that it even. I mean, I don't think it went with the same line or premises as the first film. So, in any case, thank you for listening. Thanks for the traffic ahead of time, and have a great day or evening or morning wherever you are. Thank you so much.